the fundamental life. But now for digital application, data is a fundamental application. So inaccuracy is a problem. Data can be solved in many ways, and that's why we need to develop a self application development. Next, please. In plant diagnostic, we need to improve. Once again, I say we can't rely only on a single tool to get a good result or good accuracy. But we need to integrate between lab activities. We need to integrate with molecular activities. We need to integrate many applications, and in the end, we need to integrate with technology to get a more accuracy. Next, please. So, what we learned from digital application we did in cocoa sectors, cocoa farming. So the digital plant diagnostic platform we use, and we develop a project-based learning or problem-based learning. So if looking at the picture here, so one of problem on the tree, everything is dry, and of course the tree is killed. Some our colleagues here identify and why and how is the trees happen, and in what way we need to identify the situation. Next, please. So we develop a template to go with that. We need to plan. We need the plan. We need to second about we need develop the strategy of data collection. We need to data analysis. We need to literature review. We need to reporting until we need to a seminar with that. Next, please. This is data collection based on aerial view analysis. We use a drone to identify the tree we in the previous mentioned in the marking right one. And if looking ahead from the top, so many problems in between trees. There are many looking at here the greening leaves, twigs, and also many plants are dying, and this can support our conclusion at the end. So this is aerial view we did to get a good result. Next, please. Not just aerial view, we need to get also farmer opinion. So we interview the farmer to elicit the information why, how they implement agriculture practices, how many fertilizer, how many pesticides they use, and so on. Next, please. So we use scanning application. We do barcoding. We monitor all parts of the trees. We scan about the pods, the leaves, the twigs, and also information related to these trees, and so on. Next, please. And also, we need to monitor about the environmental recording. So we need to measure sunlight, we need humidity, we need to see about pH, soil pH, and also about the temperature. Wind speed also a part of our next, please. So, to scanning, the data of the tree, because of the tree is a data, so we need to apply, we use application to scan barcoding, and this also application can transfer into the laptop, yeah, we can transfer into the Excel, so all information automatically into the sheet, and based on the pictures, the data, and also intensity of disease, and many information about the tree can analyze based on this. Next, please. So we also have a ongoing project. We develop an application system to integrate all things that can support our research project. We not just using about molecular things. We also use artificial intelligence, computer vision to do it, and we also work with marketing to support with this program, and until we find our technology in practically in farmer use. Next, please. One of the burning question is this plant digital farming for integrated pest disease management purposes more practical for farmer perspective? So far, it's still challenging. That's because of we need to improve the technology. As I said before, we have many applications, but the accuracy is a problem. We need to integrate between the farmer information from the trees, information from the environment, and the application mentioned above is not available with that. And that's why what we need in the next, we need to more develop technology based on the digital talents. We need to improve the infrastructure, digital infrastructure. We need to improve the digital ecosystem. Next, please. So, to support the digital talents, curriculum is important. We need more research students to develop with that. For infrastructure, and that because of we now Ministry of Agriculture develop ecosystems, digital ecosystem can support with this program as well. So that's why it's a good timing to develop a digital plant pathology for friendly in farm system. And one thing is the important is the curriculum. So if in Hasanuddin University, we now start to doing with that, how we develop a curriculum for a master's degree. We can do many things for doing research and developing this application. And we need also integrated this application into molecular thing and other sectors. Next, please. So, if you have any question with that, so we can discuss in depth with my YouTube, my Instagram, and my website also, where and also in WhatsApp. So I think that's one of these achievements we can share together is about the our experience in doing cocoa farming, leveraging digital plant protection or plant pathology. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Junaid. We have a question from the audience, but please wait until all the speakers give their material. Okay, Mr. Jin, can you stay? Okay.
Yes, you want me to ask directly?
Later after
Hello?
all the presentations,
Excuse me.
the presenter
Hello?
finish. Yes, yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. We can hear you.
Connection problems here actually. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So please wait because we want to moving along to our session. We are moving to the next speakers. Thank you, Mr. Junaid. Now we are moving to the second speakers. Professor Salengke already here. Okay. In this opportunity, Professor Salengke will be speaking to us on smart drying technology for agricultural products. But before that, I want to introduce Professor Salengke first. Prof. Salengke got his master and doctoral program in the Ohio State University. And now, Professor Salengke got his position from since 2009. Besides that, he also have another duty besides a dean, also dean of Faculty of Agriculture. He also as a director of teaching in industry Hasanuddin University in 2010. Okay, I think that's it. So I welcome Prof. Dr. Salengke to present your material. Times is your Prof.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to the organizing committee for inviting me to talk at this seminar. The topic that I was given is smart growing technology for agricultural product. First, we need to know about the basic characteristic of agricultural products. The first one is high moisture content, perishable, and sensitive to processing conditions. And from these three characteristics, we know that we need appropriate preservation technology in order to get the right product, the right quality to the consumer. And for this seminar, I will be talking about drying. Just to familiarize you, drying basically transfer of energy and transfer of matter. Energy should be transferred into the food products, and water should be transferred out of the product to get the dry product that you want. However, we have to realize that whatever we do here, for example, the temperature that we use, the humidity, and so on, will greatly affect the quality of the product that we process. And therefore, we need to control the processing condition, the parameter that we use in the processing in order to optimize the quality of the product, and the second, the energy that we use for the process, and the third one is the time that we need for the process. So these three things need to be optimized in order to get the process efficient. And from the two transfer, the first one is the heat transfer from the outside into the product. And from the engineering perspective, we have two mechanisms. The first one is convective heat transfer from the air surrounding the product to the surface of the product. And the second one is the conduction from the surface of the product into the inside of the product. This is from the heat transfer perspective. And from the moisture transfer perspective, the moisture within the product need to be diffused to the surface in order to evaporate it. So this is also a two mechanism. The one is diffusion from inside into the surface, and the second one is evaporation from the surface to the surrounding air. So from this, we can see that drying process really depend on the conditions around the product and also the condition inside the product. And any of these factors can become the limiting factor in the drying process that we use to dry our agricultural product. Okay, in the past, our focus was how to effectively reduce the water without seeing what's the effect on the quality. So we optimize temperature, we optimize air velocity, and then we measure how the moisture content of the product decreases during the drying process, how is the drying rate occurs during the drying process, without paying attention to the quality of the product. And we have been doing this for so long. And right now, because the consumer really concerned about the quality of what they eat, now we have to concern about what happened to the product when we do the drying process. And from past experience, we know that drying, first, it affects the physical properties of the product. Cracks, for example, in rice grain, shrinkage, when we dry fruit slices, color, we may have color change during the drying process, the browning reaction, and et cetera, which really decrease the quality of the product. The second one is chemical properties, nutritional degradation during processing, and also the decrease in functionality of the chemical inside the product. The third one is biological properties. For example, drying will affect germination rate. So depending on the products that we dry, there are several options on how we optimize the drying condition for each of the product that we handle. And we know that drying effects is a function of drying time and air humidity. Humidity really related to shrinkage. Yeah? When you have high temperature and really low humidity surrounding the product that you dry, you will have high degree of shrinkage, and probably you will destroy the texture of the product that you dry. So we need to optimize these two aspects when we dry agricultural products. Therefore, based on the short description that I just mentioned, this is the basic goal of drying, to achieve desirable quality attributes. This can be in terms of moisture content, in terms of color of the product, in terms of texture, even in terms of chemical quality, the nutritional value of the product that we dry. In drying, to optimize these quality attributes, we have to find ways to monitor them during the drying process. In the past, we only monitor the temperature. We may also monitor the humidity, but we didn't monitor any of the quality aspects during drying operation. And for quality aspect, we need smart sensor to help us in monitoring the quality attributes. Right now, we can use eNose to detect the flavor development during any process. For example, if you do drying, if you do other processes, you may notice that during the process, the reaction occur and the flavor of the product tend to change. So we can sense the change in the chemicals during processing using eNose. And for the appearance, such as size, color, texture, we can use machine vision to help us. And also we can use spectroscopy to estimate the chemical quality attributes of the product. So right now in the effort to develop smart drying technology, what scientists do now is to incorporate the old-fashioned control system, which only control temperature and humidity, with the new monitoring system using machine vision, spectroscopy, etc., in order to develop smarter drying equipment. And later on, we will see how scientists develop this system, what component should we have in the system in order to have a smarter drying system. And for drying smarter system, the control system should be able to adjust operating parameters of the drying with respect to quality. And this can be done, for example, in the drying of apple slices, in order to reduce the browning reaction during drying, and also to decrease the shrinkage during drying. We can monitor the appearance of the product, and based on this appearance, we can instruct the controller to adjust the temperature or adjust the humidity inside the drain chamber. And for this, we will require sensors and instrumentation, and we will see later how this system is developed for the drying process. Okay, now for controlling drying process, first the function. When we talk about efficiency here, there are two, efficient in terms of energy and efficient in terms of time. How our control system can help us in improving the efficiency in these two categories, time and energy. And the second one is to maintain product quality. And the control systems that we can use, classical control system, using probes and using controller to change the operation parameter. And then model-based control system. And the last one is adaptive control system. This is the classical process control system. We input the reference value that you want. For example, you want to do drying at 50 degrees C. And then you monitor the output. Going into the, let's say, your dryer, as long as the disturbance is zero, or there is no disturbance in the system, you will have a perfect match between the reference and your process parameters. However, when there is any disturbance, the controller cannot know that there is disturbance in the system, so this controller cannot adjust your process condition. Bad things can happen. So we use now feedback control system. So if there is any disturbance in the system, we can tell the controller that, hey, there is a disturbance here, so the controller will adjust the temperature or anything that we control, so the process variable here can be maintained at desired value. What you see here is we only control the process parameter. We don't control the quality aspect of the product that we process. This is good enough for product which is not really sensitive to temperature, for example, or to drying time. But for product that are sensitive, pharmaceutical products, this could create problems. So for during the drying, this controller cannot know. The controller only know whether your temperature is close enough to the reference temperature, or whether your humidity in the drying chamber is close enough to the humidity that you want in the drying process. But how the product responds to these parameters, we don't know yet. And therefore, for the smart control system in the drying process, we have to add to the right of this system that can monitor online or in time product condition during your drying process. And this is where it comes the computer aided control. Okay. This you have sensor. This to make your process observable, for example, temperature sensor, humidity sensor, etc. And then you need actuator. This is to control your process based on the input from the sensor, and your actuator can be active, whether it can increase or decrease. Yeah. This is the basic component of control system that you have. And if we combine this with computer vision system, then we will have a slightly better or even smarter control system for our drying operation. And right now we have several schemes for controlling drying. There is an on and off control system, but this is usually can give you bump in your temperature. Times it overshoot or undershoot, and then algorithm to control your temperature or your other drying conditions. For example, these are commercial products that are available in the market. For example, the dry control system developed by GEA. This is from Denmark. This is especially developed for spray drying operation. And then we have dry spec. This is developed for wood drying. And with the system, we can control the temperature or the condition inside the drying chamber more closely. The efficiency of this system is that it provides only information about performance of the dryer. How is the temperature, how is the humidity, etc. But it doesn't provide information about the quality of your product during drying. Therefore, even with this commercial system, we still need to incorporate other system into it in order to monitor the quality of the product during our drying operation. This is the, let me move this a little bit, okay. These are the old scheme of controlling dryers. All style control system, no consideration on product quality. All that we control is the drying parameter. Yeah. Probably we can control the temperature, air velocity, and humidity. Yeah. And for the first system, we only control the temperature. We don't control the air velocity and humidity. In the second system, we can control the three parameters here. We can control the temperature, whether the temperature of the drying process is close enough to the reference temperature. And how about the humidity and also the velocity of the air that we use. So we monitor with an anemometer or humidity meter or using thermocouple. And we don't monitor the quality of the product. How about the color of the product, the shrinkage, etc. We don't control it. So we determine the temperature, the air velocity, etc. based only on past experience. Yeah. For example, if I want to dry rough rice, okay, probably I say, okay, I will dry it at 50 degrees C with air velocity of about 1 meter per second. Because in the past experience, I know that at this temperature, at this air velocity, I can get good drying rate and relatively low breakage of the rice grain. This is based on past experience. But probably the smarter way is to monitor the color of the rough rice during the processing. We can adjust the temperature based on the drying period. Probably we can apply a little bit lower temperature after the critical moisture content was achieved. This is in order to minimize the breakage of the grain during the drying operation. And of course, we need some sensors.
Okay.
And then for
Assalamualaikum
spot drying,
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
here we incorporate INOS into our system, or we can incorporate computer vision system or spectroscopy that can tell us exactly from time to time about the water content of the product that we dry. And based on this information, we can then adjust the temperature of our dryer or the air velocity that we apply in order to optimize the quality of our product. And these are just some of the sensors available on the market. We have Enosis, Zinos, EOS, TGS, produced by several companies out there. And then we incorporate also computer vision, which can help us monitor the size, the shape, surface, roughness, color, etc., of the product during drying. And from this, we can estimate moisture content in real time. We can estimate quality degradation. We can see the shrinkage that occur, so we can adjust our drying parameter. Okay, spectroscopy can help us also to estimate water content from time to time during our drying operation. And how we incorporate this into the smart control system. Here we have control system. Here we have dryer that we control. But how we control this dryer is based on the perceived quality of the product during our drying operation. So we have input from our computer vision, how the product look like, whether it is its color, whether it is its size or its shrinkage. And the information here we back to the computer edit, and this will help us adjusting the control of the dryer. So in this process, we only determine the set point at the beginning, but how the temperature change from time to time during drying operation really depends on the condition of the product during drying. And with this system, we can have adaptive control system, because the temperature that we apply, the air velocity that we apply in the drying process is dictated by how the product
I'm sorry, Prof.
respond. So what we have in the smart control base, we have observer, controller to adjust process condition to achieve desirable product quality, and so on and so forth.
Maybe there is problem in Prof. Salengke. Hello? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? There is still... Hello? Hello, Prof. Salengke. Okay, now Prof. Back. Hello, Prof.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I had signal problem.
But
This would be
unfortunately, Prof,
yeah,
I'm afraid 5 minutes left, Prof.
okay. This is my last slide.
Okay, thank you.
How we apply sensor and vision system to help us in optimizing our drawing. This is an example from Martinenko. This control system for Ginseng drawing. Objective was to minimize shrinkage during drawing of ginseng. And here they apply computer vision system to monitor the ginseng condition during drying, and the information that they get from this, it processed using neural network, and the output was looped back to the control system. And this is to adjust the temperature based on moisture of the product during drying, and also based on quality appearance of the product during drying. So this is an adaptive control system based on product quality during drying. And how it works, I think this is my last slide. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had a problem with signal at the last minute. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for the nice presentation. For Pak Burhanuddin Rashid, please wait. I will give you the opportunity for deliver your questions after the last speaker deliver his presentation. Thank you very much, Pak Bur.
Thank you. I'm waiting for that.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want to invite our next speaker, Prof. Hiroki Owe. Owe Sensei, are you there?
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Sensei. Yes, yes,
hello.
clear, Sensei.
Hello, Sartika. Thank you very much.
Hi, Sensei.
So now I will share my presentation file, all right?
But before that, I will introduce you to the
Thank you.
audience. Okay. Now, Prof. Hiroki Owe is Dean in the United Graduate School of Ehime University since 2017. Professor Owe graduated from Kyoto University for doctoral program. Now, Professor Owe field study is hydrometeorology for environmental science, and the research subject is effect of change in atmospheric environment on growth of crops. Resources, technology, and other available resources talk about photosynthesis and for response model of plants, measurement and parameterization, technology of chlorophyll fluorescence properties, and also measurements and modeling of micrometeorological environment inside communities such as forests, orchards, paddy fields, etc. Prof. Hiroki Owe also have done many research in Indonesia, especially in South Sulawesi. Okay, thank you. That is the curriculum vitae of Prof. Owe. Now, Sensei, you have 30 minutes for presentation. After that, we will continue it with discussion session. Sensei, time is yours.
Thanks a lot, Chairperson Dr. Sartika Raban. Can you hear me again?
Yes, clear, Sensei.
Okay, thank you. I would like to show my sincere gratitude to the organizer of this international seminar. Very kindly inviting me as a speaker. Today, I would like, and then the given title for me is the use of agriculture meteorological data for supporting the plant protection management. Although I am not focusing on this issue, just this issue, but I have been doing the measurement about these issues. I would like to show my very new results of the research, and I would like to relate my research result to this.
Sensei, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
Sensei.
Just at the moment, all right? Okay. Firstly, I would like to show the background of this study. Originally, I wanted to investigate the mechanism of the heat tolerant of rice plant. As no need to say, Japan has many rice cultivars, but heat tolerance or heat sensitivity is very different from cultivar to cultivar. As I'm showing here, sorry, this is written in Japanese. In a hot summer year, we have a kind of a taste or quality of rice degrades under the very hot summer. Here I showed in 2010 and 2019. It was actually quite a hot summer. In such a hot condition in summer season, Japanese rice quality degraded. Also, today, actually, I'm doing the measurement of photosynthesis and some micrometeorological conditions in the rice paddy field. But the condition is very terrible or very, very hot. Maybe it would be milder in Sulawesi or Makassar, right? Maybe I think so. It is now in South Sulawesi, it is in the middle of dry season, right?
Right.
Right, and then in a shaded place, and the wind is very cool. But it is very hot condition now, today in Japan and in Ehime. Anyway, all right, let me show these slides. Normally, or basically, I started this study to investigate the heat tolerance mechanism, as I said. Ehime Prefecture developed a new cultivar called as himenorin. Hime is a lady and a ring is a kind of a very solid situation. So this cultivar, new cultivar is said to be a very beautiful and very oishi, tasty, and plus it is said to be strong for the heat of summer. But it has not been investigated scientifically. How is this cultivar be regarded as heat tolerant? So this is the background of my study. Before that, and I would like to show my appreciation to my colleagues also. The himenorin seed was provided by the Ehime Research Center, as I written here. And I would like to also thank to my colleagues in United Graduate School of Agriculture Sciences. This graduate school is a PhD school, which also Dr. Sarika Ravan completed. Hi. And also this work is supported by Ministry of Education in Japan. No need to say again, I firstly show the comparison of physiological or micrometeorological properties of the three cultivars. Himenorin, as I said, plus Koshikari, this is the maybe most famous cultivar in Japan, plus Nikomaru. And based on my research result, I would like to discuss about the possibility of the monitoring the growth of the rice, focusing on some micrometeorological conditions that can be monitored by very normal ways. So I would like to connect my research results to availability of micrometeorological data to predict and plan production and to utilize for the plant production management. The experiment was conducted by using such types of boxes. So planting the rice, 3 rice cultures in the boxes, then I measured photosynthesis, stomatoconductance, and something, as I showed later. Stomatoconductance and ETR. ETR is electric transfer rate that is very related to photosynthetical rate, were measured by this instrument, mostly every day. And also photosynthesis and other parameters were measured by this instrument. Though I will not show the result in precise today, and SPAD value was measured by these instruments very simply. A SPAD value can be measured very spadly simply by this instrument. And also soil water content was measured manually. Plus NDVI, this was a normalized difference vegetation index. NDVI can be regarded as a kind of rate of photosynthetic active radiation, PAR, that is utilized for photosynthesis by the plant. NDVI normally takes the value from -1, 0 to up to 1. If the NDVI value is close to 1, the object, I mean the plant, could have absorbed and utilized photosynthetically active radiation very fully, as I show later. NDVI can be measured by these sensors, and as I show later, NDVI can be also predicted by a camera image. And the thermal image was also taken by the camera. Okay, those are the experimental methods that I present today. These are meteorological conditions as I show here. Temperature were over 30 degrees Celsius on most days, but sometimes due to a typhoon, a little bit cooler. These are plant growth situation weekly of the 3 plants. Although I will not discuss the differences of the growth between the 3 cultures, let me call the himenorin as H or HR. NM is Nikomaru, and KH is Koshikari. Koshikari, himenorin, and Nikomaru. Okay, let's go into a SPAD value measured by these instruments manually for Koshikari, himenorin, and Nikomaru. SPAD value normally increase after the leaf extension, then leads to a kind of maximum value, a peak, then after that SPAD value decrease due to senescence. This is a very standard variation of SPAD value. Later, I will show how can the SPAD value be utilized for predicting the plant production and how to utilize for plant production management. Now let me show the soil water content. Although the rice plant is watered every time, but for make the plant strong, as you know very well, a couple of days or up to 1 week, the rice paddy field is dried. It is called that mid-season drainage. Our plant in the boxes were also applied by this mid-season drainage, showing here. The soil water content decreased like this. Those 40% of S sub C can be said to be a very saturated condition, but then 30% up to 20% it decreased, so dried condition. under such a dry condition, what happened? I will show by graphs later. Okay, little by little, I will show the measurement result. Firstly, let me show the stomata conductance, GS, measured by this instrument. Now, in these graphs, I show them mostly daily variation of stomata conductance measured by this instrument. Here, red circle, surrounded by the red lines, is during the mid-season drainage condition. Very roughly or totally speaking, during the drainage conditions, as I shown before, SLC soil water condition, soil water content decreased. Due to the decrease of soil water content, due to the drying process, stomata conductance also decreased to some degree, like this. Stomata conductance decreased to some degree. So by this way, stomata conductance decrease under the dry conditions very normally, very reasonably. This means that not only the stomata conductance decrease, but also transpiration decrease, but also photosynthesis would decrease. So by monitoring the stomata conductance behavior, we can predict the change of transpiration, and due to the change of transpiration, no need to say plant temperature, plant temperature will increase, would be a high temperature, and due to stomata closure, photosynthesis should decrease. But how to monitor the stomata conductance is not so easy, as we need to measure the stomata conductance by that types of instruments. So how to predict the changes of stomata conductance? The best way would be measuring the canopy temperature by thermal camera like this. Here I show the thermal image for the three culture. The center is Himenorin, left-hand side is Koshihikari, and right-hand side is Nikomaru. Maybe you can see the different color between the three culture, right? So denser blue color shows the lower canopy temperature. It means that Himenorin showed lowest canopy temperature. Meanwhile, Nikomaru showed the highest canopy temperature. This means that stomata conductance of Himenorin was smallest than the other two. So stomata conductance of Nikomaru showed highest. So without measuring the stomata conductance, by taking a thermal image by using a camera, nowadays we have many such types of camera to measure the body temperature, right? So by using such a thermal camera, we can detect the changes of stomata conductance that should lead the decrease or increase of photosynthesis. Okay, next is about, yes, this is a kind of a small conclusion. By using the thermal image, we can detect the decrease or increase of stomata conductance. Next story is about an electron transfer rate, ETR, measured by this instrument. In the same way as the stomata conductance, ETR was also decreased under the dry conditions. And the differences of ETR between the three cultures can't be detected so clearly by these figures. But if I may show the differences between the three cultures, then ETR of Koshihikari was smaller than the other two. And moreover, stomata conductance of Himenorin showed a quite higher value compared with Nikomaru and also Koshihikari, especially in the last season. The last period means a kind of heading and flowering stage. So in the flowering and heading stage, ETR of hemenorin showed higher. It means that even under the hot condition, hemenorin can show then higher photosynthesis with the aid of higher ETR, so the hemenorin can produce a rice even under the high air temperature. I predict like this. So by predicting the ETR, although ETR must be measured by using such types of a very sophisticated instruments, but without measuring ETR, we can predict ETR by the very simple way as I shown from here, by using NDVI and SPAD. Here I show the relationship between NDVI and SPAD. SPAD was measured by this instrument as I show, by handy instrument. The NDVI was measured by these sensors. So as you can show in this graph, NDVI and SPAD show a very similar pattern. Meanwhile, NDVI can be predicted by a camera mounted on such a UAV. I will show a sample of the measured or predicted NDVI by camera. This is my one of my fields. In our rice paddy field, we measured NDVI and SPAD at 2 points. First point is under fully watered place, and the second points were not fully, partly watered place. So we may say that the first place is fully wet condition, and the second place is a partly dry condition. So let me show the result. Firstly, look at the left graph. This is a relationship between NDVI taken by camera and sensors. No need to say sensors NDVI is trusted. So camera's NDVI can be calibrated by this graph. So by using a camera image, we can predict the reliable NDVI by this relationship. Next, please look at the 2 graphs on the right-hand side. This is a relationship of the NDVI taken by the camera mounted on the UAV and the SPAD value measured by these handy instruments. So as you can see, the SPAD value can be predicted by NDVI taken by camera very precisely. So nextly, I would like to show the NDVI at the 2 points. I showed in blue colored NDVI taken in fully watered place at the first place, and in the red color, yellow arrow shows NDVI taken by camera at the partly watered and the partly dry points. So I can say that NDVI at the partly dry and partly wet condition place was smaller than that under the fully wet condition place. NDVI showed smaller under dry condition. So it means that NDVI itself is not influenced by the soil moisture condition, but an NDVI is influenced by the plant condition. As I said, NDVI represent a kind of a percentage or rate of the absorbed or used photosynthetically active radiation by plant. So a higher NDVI means that the plant could utilize photosynthetically active radiation very much compared with the plant under dry condition. So we may say that NDVI can be utilized to predict the water stress. So by measuring, by getting NDVI by a camera mounted on the UAV, then from NDVI, SPAD can be predicted. Then from SPAD, ETR can be predicted. Now, this is a way how to predict the ETR from SPAD. And from NDVI to ETR directly, it's not so easy to predict. That's why, firstly, NDVI, next SPAD, thirdly, SPAD to ETR. This is a way how to predict ETR. So by this way, we can see a quite good relationship between SPAD value and ETR. But an interesting thing is that the relationship is different between culture. So it is a kind of a complicated issue. Before using this relationship, we need to do an experiment to get such a relationship for each culture. But if only we can get a relationship in some culture, we can predict ETR by starting from NDVI taken by camera. So this is the conclusion of this of my presentation today. As I shown by the thermal image, water stress can be monitored by thermal images. So it can relate to stomata conductance, and we can predict photosynthesis from GS, from stomata conductance also. And secondly, photosynthetic activity can be monitored by NDVI plus SPAD. So it can, NDVI and SPAD can predict ETR, that ETR, because ETR is a very important parameter to decide photosynthetic activity. So by this way, using a very handy camera, two cameras. First camera is thermal camera. Second camera is NDVI camera. Despite not so cheap price of the NDVI camera, if we can have an NDVI camera, we can get an NDVI and the SPAD and ETR. So these are the conclusions for use of agricultural meteorological data to support plant production management. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for the nice presentation, Sensei. Okay, now we are going to time. Now we three questions. Pak Bur, Mr. Bur.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Mr. Bur.
Yeah, could I give my question now?
Okay, sir. Okay, Mr. Bur, please deliver your question. To who your question for?
Okay, thank you very much. So what my voice is okay?
Okay, okay.
Okay. I going directly to the. I have a question, general question to all speakers today about this smart issue, smart agriculture. I have an experience to introduce a program about this issue in some area in Indonesia. I understand about this issue when we apply to the advanced countries like Japan, for example, but when we go to the, let's say for low developed countries, of course about, let's say Indonesian cases, where there are many remote area. So there are many farmers say, in the first time it's okay. And we teach us about how to use this let's say for the equipment, for the tools, but it's just when we come there, they can try to use the system. But when we back, there are many problems. So I need an idea from all speakers. Maybe there is a suggestion or some let's say idea how to use the smart system in the remote area, or how we can develop this smart technology in agriculture when we go to the remote area with some limited in the infrastructure. So this is the first. And the second one, I interested to Prof. Uwesensei about the methodological utilization in the plant production system. Could you give us some, let's see, maybe tools or some software when we arrange, because I know Dr. Sartika have been conducting about the water management. I want to try to relate to Dr. Junaid presentation, because you see in plant pathology, fertilization and water management is three parts is important in agriculture. So if there is, let's say, from some tools, which we can use in one system to practicing in the agriculture management. That's okay. For the Pak Salenke, for Salenke, I want to ask about the effect of drying, especially to rice. And there is now even we have let's say technology for drying, but it's not very usual. We apply for factory drying in especially in Sulawesi. I think that's all, Bu Sartika. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for a lot of questions, Mr. Bor. Okay.
Glory.
Okay. Okay, there is Mr. Jun, Dr. Junaid. Maybe you
Yep.
can
Okay.
answer directly.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you very much, moderator. So can you hear me?
Yes, clear, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
I have to make sure my connection before we are going through. Well, thank you very much,
Remote area.
Pak Bor. Yeah. Remote area and how to identify using the application effectiveness for watering, fertilizing, and so on for good agriculture practicing. Actually, so both question I can answer in the one reason. Using compendiums, sir. Compendiums means you do not need to use internet. That because the compendium based on the research. For example, in Rice Doctor, you have the application. Bring the application, go to the even remote area because of not relying on the internet. You rely on the battery, yeah? The only one thing you need to care of. So compendium can also give you information about what would you need. For example, what happened with the plantation, if something happened, the compendium can tell. But the problem is if not specifying the plants unit. For example, you go to some areas and find the problems with sagu, for example, but your compendium only the rice, so it doesn't make sense. This is some of drawbacks of the application. Using the application based on artificial intelligence, okay, good. That many variation of crops and plantation, but the problem is the remote area, no access internet, so it doesn't work too. So the technology also some gave information, gave an issue with that. I think that's my answer, yeah, for to the questions of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Junai. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay.
Sorry,
Thank
hope
you,
hope this question answer your.
I think your answer also related to the Kuti Hak question from Cambodia, because he or she also asking about
Yeah.
the application of smart technology, smart agriculture in the rural area. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next for Prof. Salengke.
Okay.
Yeah. About
Yeah.
the
Okay.
in rice, Prof.
Okay. The first one I want to address the first question about applying a smart system in the remote area. Actually, some of the operation in the remote area, for example, for irrigation, we can build the system very cheap based on Arduino system. We try to build it. Actually, we can build Arduino-based system for like less than 500,000 rupiah. Even we can get down to like 200,000 rupiah to build the smart system for irrigation system, for example. So this can be applied at the rural area, and of course for other system, for example, for application for fertilization and probably for insect and disease control. Probably we need a more sophisticated system, so it might be more expensive than the controlling for the irrigation system. And for the effect of drying of rice, for example, we generally have problem season when you see the quality of grain from the farmer. We'll find the degree of broken rice is really high, and this is due to the weather, and also this is due to the inability of the drying process to complete and the right time. And in this kind of condition, we really need to have control drying system, which we can apply to dry the rough rice on time without delay drying time. We do simulation, we delay the drying time, for example, 1 day, for 2 days, and 3 days. This is to simulate the
Hello, Prof. Salengke. I think
There's problem, yeah.
the problem with the
my
connection.
signal.
Oh,
And we try to delay the drying time to simulate the weather condition. And the longer you delay the drying time, the higher the broken rice that you can get from the rough rice. And this is really so us that drying using control drying system is important in the final quality of the rice that we produce. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Prof. Salengke.
thank you, Prof. Okay, nextly, Prof. Oe. Hello, Prof. Oe Sensei. Hello.
Hey, hello. Hello. How to implement the techniques to a practical farming system, right?
Yeah.
So maybe applying certain types of instruments is not, but nowadays, as I said, the thermal camera or NDV camera are going to be applicable day by day. The point is that the NDVI has a possibility to predict any types of stress on the plants. Today, the issue I showed is the water stress, but no need to say not only water stress, but heat. Yes, I showed the result of heat stress. And other than that, pathological stress also can be detected by NDVI. So NDVI would have many possibility or wider possibility or extended possibility, I guess. And one thing about an NDVI camera, if somebody can have, if somebody has a little technique, anybody can convert the very normal RGB visible image camera to NDVI camera, I've heard. Actually, the NDVI camera that now I'm using was also converted from the very normal Canon camera. So if somebody has a technique, NDVI camera can be obtained very easily, I think. Anyway, the point is NDVI has a possibility. Plus, if the farmers organize a quite wide farm area, every day if the farmer take the images, thermal image and NDVI images, maybe without doubt, the farmer can realize the change of the NDVI or temperature. So if the farmer found on site by his or her eyes, it would be too late. But then by using such a technique, before it would be a so serious condition, the data can show the changing or a kind of symptom to which the situation is going to be bad. So such an getting the symptom for the stress, any types of stress, this technique can be utilized, I guess. Sorry, it's not a good answer for your question, but if I may summary, I would like to say like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, we still have one question for Sensei. In chat, from your observation, which characters of the rice plant that most sensitive to heat and can be possible characters to be developed in breeding program? That's question from the audience for Oe Sensei.
Thank you very much. In this study, I used 3 cultures, as I said. A new cultivar Himenorin in Ehime Prefecture, plus a very famous cultivar of Japanese rice, Koshihikari, plus Nikomaru. The third Nikomaru is also said to be heat tolerant, as it was developed in Kyushu area, south part of Japan. So I would like to compare the properties between the 3 cultures. The most heat-tolerant cultivar in this study would be said to be Himenorin, as Himenorin had properties of high stomata conductance and higher ETR in heading and flowering stage. So like this, by looking at stomata conductance and ETR in this study, maybe if we compare those between any cultures of rice, or not only rice maybe, but also any other crops, we can predict, we can say which culture is tolerant to heat or tolerant to water stress or something. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Sensei. The last question for Dr. Junaid. Hello, Dr. Junaid. We have question from Mr. Mahmoud. Can you explain
Yes.
the algorithm to identify pests in plantation in association with artificial intelligence? What kind of program can you use for this? Okay, please.
I'm sorry, I can't explain algorithm with that. I'm sorry about that's because that we need the interdisciplinary to explain the sign of artificial intelligence for the objects, yeah, for example, trees, leaves, or something like that. So basically, it's not my expertise about the how to explain algorithm. I'm sorry about that, but we can discuss later if the. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Junaid. Because now start in 3 p.m. So thank you very much for Professor Saleke, Professor Hiroki Owe, and Dr. Muhammad Junaid for addressing those interesting topics.
Thank you.
On behalf of Agriculture Faculty, Hasanuddin University, we would like to thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. Okay.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of the participants, the season 2 of this international seminar already finished. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon all. I return to the thank you very much.
See you tomorrow.
And there is information from the MC, please.
We would like to thank you for Sartika Laban, PhD, as a moderator in this session.
Therefore, we come to the end of this all session today of International Seminar on Smart Farming 2022.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your coming and your nice attention on the first day of this event.
We would like to inform you that tomorrow is the second day of seminar. Will be start tomorrow at 8:30 Central part of Indonesian time with more interesting topic. Consists of the first is precision farming with the speaker are Dr. Insinyur Desriel, Master Engineering IPU, with the topic development of modern agricultural machinery, and Andang Suryana Soma, Bachelor Forestry, Master Agriculture, PhD, with the topic use of drone in agriculture system.
And the second is innovative technology to shorten the link from farm to table, with the speaker are MM Iqbal Hosan, Bachelor of Science, Master of Science, with topic digital marketing for agricultural food products. Ms. Chloe with topic the shortest distance from farm to table, natural house experience sharing of transnational e-commerce development, and Mr. Benedict Jardinero with topic agricultural information system.
At the ending of the seminar tomorrow, we are going to have a quiz and we will give away souvenirs for the winners of the quiz.
Therefore, we are inviting all participants to join us again tomorrow's session, and we will see you again. Link for e-certificate will be informed tomorrow at the end of seminar session. Consequently, we urge for the audience to be able for attend again and follow the all agenda on Zoom meeting or YouTube for tomorrow.
We would like to say thank you for all our speakers on this seminar today. Thank you for all the organizing committee, and thank you for all audience who has attended on this event today. I'm Ihram Shah.
I'm Azmi Nur Karima Amas.
That's all of us.
Keep safety, keep healthy. Thank you and good afternoon.